everyone, Obsessive Prepper AZ. I just received from the mailman today 2 boxes of my Berkey water filters, the black filters. So I wanted to do a quick video because I found some information out since I started into the Berkey water filters and found out some information about the filters that I wanted to share with you all. Now this is the Royal Berkey that you see in front of you. Yes, it's an expense. It's $283. It comes with 2 black filters. Each set of black filters, if you want to add on to it, is $107 each, and that's with shipment included into that. So in front of you, 6 black filters and my Royal Berkey comes to roughly $500. It is an expense without a doubt, but it's something that I think you cannot go a day in any situation, SHTF situation, without water. Water is vital to human beings, and you know, I just figure it's best to spend the money, buy the right purification system, and that way your family's taken care of. You know, we all have filters. We've got water purification, you know, tablets, things like that. But, you know, and then I also have my solar sun oven that I can use where I can pasteurize water with the WAPI. So, you know, using your filters, just if you had the system, 1 set of black filters will do 6,000 gallons. Now, on this Royal Berkey, it holds 3.25 gallons in the capacity chamber. With 2 black filters, you can filter up to 4 gallons of water an hour. If you were to put 4 of your black filters in, it would be 8 gallons of water per hour. Now, 6,000 gallons for 2 filters is a heck of a lot of water. So why do I have 2 more sets, do you say? Well, I'm going to get into that, and I wanted to show you things that I found out on the one of the sites that has a calculator, and it's interesting information. Also, priming your filters I want to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my camera in, and I want to show you. I'm going to start with the black filters, and then I'm going to show you a site that I found out that is extremely interesting to me. Now this is the black filters here. Now on your black filters, let me spin this around so I make sure that this is in the screen with you. Okay, so on your black filters, on their site, they tell you to primer your filter. If you do not primer your filter, it's not going to filter correctly. And so what is primary? What you have to do is you have to take your nut off and your washer. What you're going to do is you're going to turn your nut upside down. You're going to screw it down a little bit. And what they tell you to do is to pop this into the bottom of your faucet, so that that little nozzle's over the top, and you're going to run it for about 20 seconds. And what happens is you'll see the water coming through, and it'll start beating up on your filter here. Well, as I'm watching the this video, I'm like, oh my gosh, well, what if in an SHTF situation there's no water pressure, so you cannot primer your filter? So what do? I don't want to have to pre-primer it because I want this to last as long as possible and keep dry. So I called the manufacturer, and I talked to a gentleman that was more than gracious to answer all the questions. I told him what I do, what we do, and he's been very familiar with preppers and their water filtrations for preppers. And what he says what you can do is you can take your filter and you submerge it for 8 hours, and that will primer your filter. The water will get in through it, and then it will filter properly. So I found that very interesting. Also, with your filter, what you want to do is buy some of those Scotch-Brites, the pads that have that scouring pad on the side, and just throw them down inside of your Berkey, because what happens as this filters, it'll get black gunk on it and will stop and hinder the filtration process. So what you've got to do is take that black gunk off. Something he also did provide me with some more information is to take a potato peeler and just run your potato peeler down the sides, and that will scrape off all the gunk. So, buy at the 99-cent store potato peeler and throw in your Berkey water filter. So I found that interesting and vital information. So 2 filters will filter 6,000 gallons of water. Now, like I said, I purchased another 2 sets of them, so I have enough to filter 18,000 gallons of water. What I wanted to get into on some of the information that I have found out from this site here, it's a neat site. It's Get Berkey. Now we're going to first talk about what you can not run through, what they do not recommend. You cannot use your soft water system, so don't use soft water. Also seawater, salt water, you cannot filter that, but you can definitely filter your pool water. Well, when I first got into this, I'm like, oh gosh, well, you know, if our pool is 15,000 gallons and I have 2 black filters, it's going to filter 6,000 gallons. Wrong. It is going to block your filter up more because of the chlorine that is in there. Now, I talked to this gentleman on the phone, and he can't give me a guideline exactly how much pool water it'll filter, but I says, is it a safe assumption to at least half of the filter's life? So 3,000 gallons of water, and he says, without a doubt, more than likely, probably a lot more. So I'm like, well, at least that's a starting point for me. So if I know minimum is 3,000 gallons, I've got 9,000 gallons capacity here for that. Now, you know, you've got to think as time goes on, your water in your pool, the chlorine's going to get, you know, dissipated because you're not going to have a filtration system. You're not going to have as much chlorine in there. So you want to always run like your water, any kind of water, through a t-shirt, cheesecloth, get all the crap out of it before you start running it through the filtration system. Okay, now going back to this site here, I'm going to try to zoom in enough to show you the information that I found on this site. It is a neat calculator. Now, to start off with, this is getberkey.com, G-E-T-B-E-R-K-E-Y. And what I wanted to show you here is this is a filter calculator over here in this corner. You click on that. Now, I'm going to go in a little bit smaller here so you can actually see the... Now, that's for like a fluoride filter. I don't care about that. What I'm more interested in is the black Berkey filters. All right, so what I've got here is on this calculator, you have to, what's neat, it'll tell you how much you need. So I'm going to upscale this a little bit more here. Okay, so what it is the black Berkey water filters replacement calculator. Now I have the Royal Berkey, so I'm going to go ahead and click that. Number of black filters installed. Now, I'm not going to run 4 filters through. I don't think that I have to do 8 gallons an hour in an SHTF situation. So I'm only ever going to run 2 filters at one time. So I'm going to put in 2 filters. Now, the next thing is the number of times the system is filled per week. Now, that's where you have to kind of get your thinking on, because if you're doing 4 gallons an hour on your filter, how many people do you have? Now, I've always planned to always take care of at least 10 people. Now, in any SHTF situation or any situation at all, a person needs a minimum of a gallon of water a day. So now you can get water and stuff from other sources. I'm just going with a gallon of water a day. Plus also water that I'm going to need for cooking one thing or another. So if I'm going to need 10 gallons a day for drinking, I'm going to add on another 10 gallons a day for incidental kind of things. So I'm going to say I'm going to need to run 20 gallons of water through my filter a day. Now that 20 gallons, now if it only does, so it's asking how many times a week am I going to do this? Well, I'm going to have to get 20 gallons, I'm going to have to run my filter 5 times a day, which is 35 times a week. So I'm going to put in 35 times and then calculate the results. Hopefully you can get that. Okay, so 35 times. Okay, so the results are, out of 6,000 gallons is what it's going to do. I'm going to get by for 53 weeks, 12 months, 1 year. So that is very interesting. So just on a bare minimum of 20, this is just like rainwater harvesting, you know, any kind of just regular water, not your pool water. So it's telling me I can get by for a family of 10, 20 gallons a day for 1 year. So I have 3 sets. So as is, just in just regular water, I have 3 years of water for 20 gallons a day. Now that's a lot of water when you think about if you have a solar sun oven and you can pasteurize your own water with a Whoppy. if you have water purification tablets, if you have boiling water, capacity, things like that. So this water filter for $500 with the 3 sets of black filters is an excellent deal for how much water you can get. That's 10 people. That is awesome. So now if you think about 1 year, and that's just regular water, now we're going to let's cut it down in half, because if the minimum we're going to be able to do on pool water, so I can still get by at minimum a year and a half on pool water. This will filter our pool water. So maybe I only use this for pool water. Maybe I use my solar sun oven and the boiling water and all that other methods for, just regular water harvesting, however we get our water, and use this strictly for pool water. But I wanted to show you this because I think it's a neat calculator. It's getberkey.com, and you go to the filter let me get back over here. You go over here to the right to the filter calculator, and it'll give you a clue of how much water you're going to need per day, and how many times and how many filters. So I hope you enjoyed this segment. I hope it wasn't too long, but like I said, it's something that we cannot go without water, clearly, and it would be silly for me, with the food storage that I have and the other things, to not buy a decent system. I am not looking at a family of 4 to take care of. I'm looking at a larger scale. And that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment any suggestions. I deal with filters a lot. I love the Aqua Mira products, AQUAMIRA. They have a Frontier straw. They have the military straws that do a lot of things for your go bags, things like that. But this is a system that I wanted to be able to do a lot of water for a large amount of people, and I was mainly concerned with pool water. So you all have a blessed day.